Which one? Which one would you like?
I'm going black.
Jonathan.
I'm going
Jonathan Nelson.
Because I see everybody
MBE.
picks the red one, so I'm going black now.
Oh,
That's you. So,
what's up? Listen, Johnny. First of all, how are you? We're going to do welfare checks
yeah,
first.
thank you. First of all, I'm good, and thank you for the hookup you're going to give me with Adidas. See all the stuff that she got?
You called me.
She got me a deal with Adidas.
No, but you accused me of wearing fake. You asked
I
me
didn't.
if it was legit Adidas stuff.
Yeah,
Why would
because
you do
I
that?
can't find these things. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
but just because you can't find it, why would I embarrass myself to wear fake Adidas gear?
maybe we'll never be able to prove if it's fake or not.
What, you want to strip off my clothes and check the labels?
Well, I'm not that guy, but I'm just saying.
I've heard that you are.
I'm a good guy.
Anyway, it's not fake, but
All right.
I'm not. I don't
I'm
wear
waiting for the hookup.
it. Go onto Adidas.
They might do the stuff for girls, but they don't do it for guys. I would bust some Adidas leather trousers.
If you need a stylist because your dressing's a bit off key still.
Oh, man, look at this.
Nah, because you wear like bootcut jeans and crazy stuff. So anytime you want a stylist, I'll do it for free. Do you know what I mean? And people are like, oh my gosh, Johnny Nelson looks so nice. Who's dressed?
Listen.
And then you have to shout me out then as a stylist.
No problem.
But happy to be in your company. You know I always enjoy talking to you. Banter aside. I know people probably think we want to kill each other, but we don't. Johnny, succession of boxer shows starting off 2025, right? Shows.
Well, I think you know what you've got two fighters that are on this bill, Callum and Scott. They boxed literally 3 weeks.
3 weeks ago.
This is how it should be.
Should it?
Yeah, man. Because you know, and it's an example for the fight. So one, stay in the gym. Stay fit, take over. I can remember Amir Khan saying to me after he boxes, he didn't go back in the gym again until he's got a fight. I'm like, what? You got to live in the gym. That's why I got my opportunities, because they're thinking he's not going to be ready. Always be gym fit. Then if somebody says there's a fight on, the fight is pulled out, boom, go. My first 7 defenses of my world title is because I lived in the gym. Joe Kazaki pulled out of his fights through injury or whatever. Then I got the opportunity, and so it's a great example for fighters. So one, build their fan base. Two, it's a professionalism that they should stick to. And look at the opportunities. Callum said to me, you know what? I've not even unpacked the bag from the last fight.
Imagine.
And he's not even cashed his check from the last fight.
Nice.
I love that. I love that.
That's music to my ears.
I love that. And that's what I'm saying. It's a chance for fighters. And honestly, if you talk to fighters, they would love that. Unfortunately, the game isn't like that. It's not that fortunate. But what a great way to start the year for these guys.
His opponent was very verbal.
Elvis. You know what? And Callum on stage said, he said, yeah, there's a fancy dress drop round the corner. So
fancy dress. Oh dear.
But you know what? And Elvis talks a great fight. You look at his record. I think knocked 12 out of his 13 wins out. There was only one fighter winning with a winning record, and that was 3-2. And so, listen, he talks a great fight, and maybe that's what he needs to do to G himself up, to get ready for fight mode. He probably wanted to come back with him with something, and it kind of diffused him, because if you kill him with kindness,
yeah.
And Callum dealt with it correctly. He wasn't sucking in to play his game. And that's just how it is. Some fighters need that. They need some kind of tension and aggression to bring the best out of them.
Do you know much about his opponent, though? Because obviously, you know, he's talking a good game, and we like that. Somebody that's live. But do we know much about him? Do you know much about young Elvis?
Yeah, as I said, young Elvis has had 12 knockouts in 13 fights. Those 12 knockouts, 13 wins, those 12 knockouts that he had, they're all against losing opponents. So only one of those opponents had a winning record with 3-2. So therefore, you can do that at a certain level. But then when you get to a higher level, you're going to get given your arse. And so therefore, it's great to talk a big fight. He's got to gym up. You know, he's got to come out there and say, you know what, this is my opportunity. But the problem is, it's about levels. And if you're in a position like Callum or even Adam, what happens is you've got a target on the back the second you become that focus. And some kid that's just turned professional will be planning and plotting for you from day dot. Yeah. And so they've had years to prepare for you. Where you find out about them in 6 weeks before a fight, and that's the responsibility of a champion or a true champion in the future. So Callum, regardless of how long Elvis has been keeping an eye on him, Callum's got to think, you know what, I'm good, I've got to prove why I'm good, because I can deal with you with 3 weeks notice, no matter how many years you've had to prepare for me.
The one thing I will do, and I know I'm sort of like brushing over this, is Callum sort of mentioned like a homecoming with a potential future fight, this year fight with Sheffield's Liam Cameron.
Yeah.
Something that I know they both said that they do. Apparently it was in talks, or there were suggestions that that fight could have happened before, but obviously Liam Cameron took the Ben Whittaker fight. I mean, talk to us, because obviously I'd say Callum's got to go up to light heavy, but talk to us about that.
Well, I
Can
think
it happen?
I think it's a subtle statement fight for Callum to say, let me show you how to deal with this boy there. And I think Liam, they were trying to chase the rematch with Ben, and I think Ben, should do what Ben's doing and take no notice of him. You don't need him. Regardless, he doesn't need him, and he can ignore the criticism and the naysayers to say, yeah, but look how the fight went. Look at what happened with David Haye when he got knocked out against Carl Thompson in his 10th professional fight. He didn't do the rematch, and look what he went on to do. So it's about development. It's about the mistakes thing, and I've learned from that mistake. So therefore, I don't need you, but I'll not do that again.
Johnny, and I don't want you to, like I said, I always respect the opinions of, you're a fighter. Like I said, you do what I can't, but with that Carl Thompson, it was a definitive answer. The thing is, why the fans are calling for this, there's no answer to the fight. There was no conclusion. So it's left that suspense of what could have been. So that's why there's more of an attraction. Do you know what I mean?
The attraction, I'm saying the attraction's there from the public pressure. But when Ben went out to fight a man that loves to fight, instead of going out there to box him. So we can always say this might have happened, that might have happened. Ben made a mistake. He took the wrong attitude and approach to this fight. He made a mistake, and so that's why the fight turned out the way it did. Now Ben's got to put his hot hat on, ignore what we say, ignore what the naysayers say, now ignore what the haters say, and think, right, I'm going to crack on. And remember, even from the amateurs, Ben has been that kid that troubled child that causes trouble in an empty room, evokes emotion where you hate him or love him. So again, he's got to turn this energy that he's getting from the public into a positive for himself and say, all right, think what you want. You watch what I end up doing. But the one thing I would say about that for Ben is, he has the trappings of a fighter that's at his stage in his career. He's making some mad money, and that changes your appetite for a while. It does make a big difference for a while, and so this is where the distraction is. And I think the difference between him and Adam, you see, Adam's dad is a buffer. Adam's dad will probably be giving him pocket money, to keep this boy focused, to keep this boy on track. Because all of a sudden, in 14-hour game, when you start to hit the headlines and you become popular, you've got mad dough in your pocket. All of a sudden, it attracts the bees around the honey. So you're getting things that are going to distract you. It might be girls, it might be business opportunities, might your friends say, yo, come, let's go out. So therefore, the dad is doing the Spartan thing, sticking close to his boy, so he stays on point.
One of the fighters that I did speak to, and I'm sorry to cross over, I was at a Matchroom press conference yesterday, and I spoke to one of their fighters, George Liddard, who's going up against Derek Osaze.
Yeah.
George Liddard had, in my opinion, the absolute utter top professionalism, as in the way he views his career. When you talk about the things that you've mentioned, you said gym ready, having obviously the right people around you. He was saying to me that boxing is his life. He doesn't see his partner who he's with, he's committed. Boxing comes first. She appreciates that, she supports that, and it helps him to focus on what he wants to do, is eventually become a champion. That was so refreshing to hear, because you could hear from the way he was saying it, the passion in his voice. He was absolutely adamant that's what he wants to do, Johnny.
Most professionals walk into our game with that appetite. And what happens is...
I said that.
Yeah. What happens is, it's that David Beckham syndrome. Some of those professionals, what happens is, they want to be seen in the paper. They want to look the part. They want to look the part, and so they lose focus. And so, and there's a lot of household names in our sport. And when you look at the beginning of their career, it's just fight. And then what happens is they go to these guys get distracted get drunk on the fame and the adulation, and they go to the opening of a crisp packet. So instead of being in the gym. You understand?
And I said that to him. Am I going to come back to you in 2 years and this is, you've started to get the money, you've started to get the belts. I said, I really hope you keep this energy.
And you need to save that, because in 2 years' time,
I'm going to go back.
In 2 years' time, if that changes, you'll see it's the curse of not having the right people around you. So that hunger, that appetite, that professionalism that he's got now, if he's like that as a pro, he'll be as a champion. He'll be a champion for a long time. But unfortunately, most fighters don't have the right people around them. When it gets, because the more money, the more success you get, all of a sudden, the ninjas come out and they want to say, let's go do X, Y, Z. And you get a lot of yes men around you that all of a sudden create a job for themselves. And if you're in a position where, I don't want to work too hard today, so I'm going to get these yes men around me. That's not gonna question me. That's not
How
gonna.
do you get rid of them though? I mean, all right, it's not even your problem.
You get rid of them like this. You have somebody around you from an original around you. Like Adam's got his dad. Like Tyson Fury had his dad.
Fair enough.
Like Ricky Hatton at one point had Billy Graham that understood it and got stuck to him like glue. But what happens is when these ninjas pop out, they try and undermine that dad or that person and get him out of the way because they need to get close to you. And unfortunately, our sport at its best, it's the greatest sport in the world. At its worst, it's a dirty, rotten, prostituting game. And so you've got to have the right people around you that keep you on point.
I've got to ask Jamie Takivi, he's over there now being interviewed by Boxer. I like him.
Yeah.
I like his attitude.
Yeah.
I like his style. And he's going in against Michael Webster, a fighter that turns up to win, doesn't just turn up to collect his money and drop on the floor, go home. Talk to us about that fight and how you see it going, because Webster's no fool.
No, he isn't. And I think when Jamie TKV was stopped in his fight, it gave him, it was probably the best thing that could have happened to him in this stage of his career. The reason being, it gave me a reality check, and it made him think, well, because eventually you think, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and all of a sudden, he's thought, God, you know what? I've been humbled, and so now he's saying, you know what? That won't happen again. So whatever he was lacking, whatever attitude, mentality he had up to that point, that's changed now, because he knows what it's like to lose. And people think a loss changes everything in your career. A loss can make you a better fighter down the line.
Can it, Johnny?
Yeah, and I think for Jamie, it'll make him a better fighter.
Right. Can you look at fighters, and this is a bit like, I don't know, Mystic Meg, but can you look at fighters and think, you know what, that loss is going to break them, or that loss is going to make them?
Yes.
Can you do that with certain fighters?
Yes, with certain fighters you can. I think.
What do you see that the fans, us, that we don't?
Okay, that loss. Okay then, the loss. Let's have two examples.
Yep.
We'll have Jamie and we'll have Tyson Fury.
Okay.
So Tyson Fury got to a stage where. Or not even Tyson Fury, Naz, anybody. You've got certain fighters that once you start to believe in the hype, once you start to believe in those yes men around you, you start to lose touch on reality. You think, nah, I don't need to do that. I'm this, I'm that. I'm all the things that the newspapers say about me. So you don't work as hard. Your passion, your honesty, your integrity changes because you believe in all the BS that's said and written about you. And then when you lose, it's hard to come back down to reality and think, oh my God, I can't believe that's happened. For it to happen early in your career, like it happened to Jamie, it makes you decide how much you want it or not. It makes you understand, I don't like that feeling. I don't want that to ever happen again. When I started my career, I started upside down. I started as a loser. And so I was a professional loser. I could deal with that.
Oh,
so that was when I started to win, I'm like, oh man, I like this. I know what losing's about. So I can deal with winning and losing. I can understand what it takes to stay on top. So with Jamie, I say for him, that's the best thing that could have happened to him. And and some fighters, when that happens, you think, whatever I did for that to happen was never going to happen again. So and that's how you see the difference. You can just see the difference in attitude. You can see the difference in how they talk, how to the press, how they talk about their opponents, how they deal with it themselves. And you just can see. You can point them out.
I've got to touch on this finally, because I know there's always a queue to speak to you, Johnny, and I get it. You're an interesting character, even though your dress sense is a bit off key. But we covered the Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. Obviously, there's been a bit of stuff circulating about the 170 pounds second day weigh-in or rehydration clause. Now, you as a professional fighter at cruiserweight, you have to make weight as well. Talk to me about that, because there's a bit of a haze around it. I spoke to Elliot from Chris Eubank Jr.'s team. Obviously, Chris Eubank, he belongs to Boxer Sky Sports. What are your thoughts on it?
Don't be fooled by it. You know, Chris was very much involved, and his handlers were very much involved in the negotiation of this fight getting signed, sealed, and delivered. Now all of a sudden, people are like, "Oh my God, have you seen that the weight clause? How's he going to manage?" Chris ain't no fool. This boy can make that weight, so he'll want everybody to believe, oh, he's going to be weight, he's going to be struggling, and he want his opponent to believe it. And you see these things over and over. Fights are won long time before you get in the ring if you're smart enough. And so if he gets us and he gets his opponent thinking, yeah, he's going to be tight of the weight, good. Remember Sugar Ray Leonard boxing Roberto Duran, the second fight, lost the first fight, second fight, he knew Roberto Duran was out partying, celebrating the success of beating Sugar Ray Leonard. And then Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, he wanted that fight ASAP, quick, because he knew my man
was cold.
But he knew my man was on the drunkard. And he was smart enough to use his brain to think, I've got to get him while he's weak. Now with Chris, what Chris has done is, he's letting us all run away with the idea that he's going to struggle at the weight. He's making us all think, you know what, this suits Conor Ben, this is wrong, this is bad. And he'll let all the fools argue. I don't believe it's going to make any difference. Because in the negotiations, if it didn't suit him, it wouldn't happen. They wanted this fight far too much. Matt True and everybody want this fight far too much for them to let it slip away. So now, you know, Chris has done something to think, you know, that I can do that. That works for me. I was speaking to people within that circle, and when we're in the stage of negotiation, and they were happy with everything they got. So do not be fooled by this weight situation. He knows what he's doing.
Okay, but why put it in then? Why have it in? Listen, I have to play both sides here. But this is what I'm saying.
They didn't want it in. Yeah, who wanted it in? So therefore, you know, who did
put it in?
Who'd benefit wanting it in? Obviously, Conor Ben's team had benefit from putting it in.
Coming
so therefore,
one weight.
Yeah, but therefore, you know what? We'll negotiate then. Let's negotiate. Oh, it's like going to buy a car. You look at the car thinking, why this car's on it? Yeah. Why? And then you start kicking the tires saying, oh no, it's not all that. I'll take it off you, but yeah, all right, I'll do you a favour and take it off you. They ain't stupid. So they will not agree to something that doesn't suit them. And so both sides have said, right, this can suit me. This is why it's taken so long for this, that, and that's why the fight is now being done. Signed, sealed, to be delivered.
I spoke to Eddie Hearn yesterday. He says that Anthony Joshua is potentially going to be out in May. Fight news coming soon. Obviously, I'm just going to park Tyson Fury because I have to.
Yeah.
There's no point in repeating that conversation. But obviously, Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker. As was said at the beginning, Anthony wasn't ready to fight him in February. That has now become a potential offer for him to fight the winner of that. And now Martin Bacoli has now got in the mix also.
That ain't going to happen.
Johnny, you keep doing this.
AJ ain't going to fight Bacoli.
So who's he going to fight then?
Reward. It might be Wilder. If that's the case.
Wilder.
You know, it won't be Bacoli. Risk reward doesn't add up. You just wouldn't. That was a showman's when you seen them head to head. They're not in that. That ain't going to happen. So again, and I keep saying, I know they're talking about why are they not banging the drum to say we want the rematch. So we'll wait until Parker Dubois fight because I want that opportunity.
He has said that's an option as well.
No, he wants to be the option. That's what
he wants. Only that, and that's it.
That wants to be the option because you've got to remember, if AJ puts himself in a position to fight anybody else, you don't know which AJ is going to turn up, and if he loses again, that's done. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, he's lost the grace of you being able to depend on AJ turning up, the AJ turning up. So therefore, I'd be thinking, right, Daniel Dubois boxing. When's Daniel Dubois boxing?
22nd February.
22nd of February. So we've got February, March, April, May. So if AJ's talking about fighting in May, do you think Daniel Dubois, if he wins against Parker, wouldn't want to fight AJ in May? So why not do the fight? If you're talking May, the fight can still happen. Why not do the fight? I remember Linus Lewis losing to Oliver McCall, Hasim Rahman. In the ring, my man's drunk up saying, I want the rematch. I want the rematch in the ring. Why are people ignoring the fact that the rematch can happen? Why are people ignoring the fact that why not get back in with Daniel Dubois? Do you not think you can beat him? Do you not think that it's a chance to be a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world? So that should be the name at the top of their list if they're talking about him fighting in May.
I think that is the name at the top of the list, but I think they're looking at other options. One of the other things is, I mean, you know, you talk about which one do you think he'll take? Like you said, Bacoli, winner of Parker, Dubois, Deontay Wilder.
Take Wilder because Wilder looks the most fragile. He looks the most fragile out of all of them. If it does happen, it'll be Wilder because he looks the most
Dillian
fragile.
White?
No.
No?
The Wilder looks the most fragile and less of a threat.
Okay, then we're going to leave it there, Johnny. We'll carry on this another day. It's always a pleasure to speak to you.
Always
Thank
a
you so
pleasure.
much for your time.
Boom,
And look
mic
after
drop.
yourself. And like I said, stylist, yeah? Stylist, when you're ready to put on proper clothes.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.